So, Dwight, how would you set up a double cross?
A double cross.
Yes.
Yeah. A double cross obviously is the scenario where you have a friend who now is basically turning on you for whatever reason. Double crosses are hilariously fun if done in the right moment. We've talked about them a little bit before. Probably the one that you hate the most was the game we were playing was a GURPS game. We were doing this timeline thing. You guys were trying to seal a demon, and the guy who is very helpful in telling you how to collect everything to do it.
Yep.
When you guys are going down there to seal the demon for good, he then decides to try to kill one of you to actually let it out. And you guys are like, oh, wait a minute, we got double crossed. And so first foremost, let's just work a double cross backwards. Like, let's just reverse engineer it. Okay. So a double cross is best when the reveal of the double cross is at the worst possible time. Yep. 100%. So that's the always thing to keep in mind. Is like, make sure the double cross happens or the realization happens like at the worst possible time. So if you're doing like an Ocean's 11 heist game, which actually let's just talk about. So if you're watching The Italian Job, the double cross happens when you find out that there's a second crew, kind of, that's basically there to take all the money that the first crew just got out. So the crew works really hard, gets all the money. So like it'd be like Ocean's 11 shows up, and the three guys that are loading the van with the money and jumping in are actually the three guys that are now double-crossing all of the other people that were like, wait, my job was to do this in the sewer, my job was to do this in the gambling room, and then we were all going to meet up at the... And then when do you find out about the double-cross? They all show up at the plane, right?
And there's nobody there.
No one there. And it's like, what just... Yeah, you got double-crossed. And then that would be where you'd start the movie, right? And you're like, okay, the rest of the movie, like the Italian Job did, is double-crossing the double-crosser, right? Getting revenge. But in an RPG, what you do with the double cross is you have a helpful NPC who's just been helpful this entire time.
Yes.
And then one day decided way before they ever met you that they had an alternative agenda and they needed to double cross you. How does this work best from a GM perspective? I'll be honest, on a whim. Like, literally, like, you're like, oh, this guy's been really, really helpful this whole time. Like, why shouldn't he just double cross you?
On the one that I remember that you did to us, you just thought in that moment, well, let me just have him switch.
Yeah, why not?
Because from our standpoint as the players,
right,
he's been beyond helpful. He's been giving
beyond
everything
helpful.
And why would we know anything of this?
Why has he been so helpful? And I thought that to myself. I was like, why has this guy been so helpful? I'm like, either A, he really just wanted to be helpful, or B, he's working for the guy and he didn't have the means to get all the stuff he needed.
Yeah.
But you all did, so he used you, and no one saw it coming. Not even the GM, who decided in the second, like, he should just double cross you. So I'll be honest, the best way to set up a double cross, honestly, is on a whim.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at who should double cross the players, it should be the person that was overtly helpful, because you can come up with the easiest motive for them.
Or the other one that could also be the same way. The NPC that they have a fondness for. Could be the double cross.
Yep. And honestly, here's the fun part. You actually could have the NPC they don't like and trust also just do the double cross. Because, like, they look at it and like, oh, well, we knew we didn't like him. Oh, of course you knew you didn't. You don't know why you didn't like him. You don't know why. Whatever. You just and then the players can be like, we just knew in our gut that guy was bad news. You're like, yeah, sure, I guess he was. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But the fun part about the double cross is, again, they have to trust the NPC at a certain point. So even if they don't like the guy, they still need him or her at a pivotal point in the storyline for whatever reason. Like, the easiest I can think of is literally like a Shadowrun or a Cyberpunk game or something where it's like, we're doing a break and enter for something. Could be done in a D&D game as well. Could be done in almost any game, really. We need to break and enter into X for Y reasons. And we have to take that guy along, and we hate that guy. But that's the only guy who has the one ability or the skill that we need to get past these guards. Or this trap, or this hallway. And so we bring him along because we have to. We don't like it. And then, of course, we get through the hallway or the guards or the trap or whatever just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then he kind of like pulls like if you've seen the movie Aladdin, right? Jafar's up at the top, like, just throw me the thing, you know? Like, so Aladdin's dumb and he throws him some stuff up there, and then Jafar's like, ha ha ha, and closes him in. Of course, you know, we all know how that goes if you watched Aladdin. But the point is, you have the concept of like, he did his duty. So then the players relax. That's the best part about it. They're going to go, oh, okay, the guy's just a jerk, but he didn't double cross us. Well, then as you're coming back out, that's where the double cross happens, right? Where maybe all of a sudden you come back out and every guard in the entire place is standing right there. And who's in front? But, you know, the guy we hate, right? Mm-hmm. And so there you go. So that's how you would do the double cross for a guy they hate. For a guy they love, it's really simple. You just pick the worst moment, flip him, and you're good to go. Why you want to do a double cross and when you don't want to do it too many times. But double crosses are fun if they don't happen a lot.
Yes.
Because then what happens is you start breeding in your players this concept of anybody who's nice to me is going to stab me in the back. And that's the last thing you want, because then you get players that are like, you know, we're in the tavern and they're looking for the hook because that's what you do. You shouldn't do that, by the way. But let's say that's what you do. And then it's like, oh, you see the guy in the corner looking at you, and like, I kill him, and you're like, wait, hold up, like, because you don't want to breed paranoia into your players. But a good double cross every, I don't know, 8 to 10 months, 8 to 18 months, or whatever is kind of fun. It doesn't give them the feeling that everybody and their mother's out to kill them. But it does keep them wearing, like, you know, not everybody's helpful. Yeah. You know, which is true in life, too.
And it also gives more story to it. Because normally you do it at the climax of the story or at the end of the story, and then you throw one more thing in that makes it a lot more entertaining than, oh, hey, we sealed it. No, we didn't. And he double-crossed and he tried to...
And, you know, that's a good point, too. Like, the reason I double-crossed you guys in that story was because you were walking through it way too quickly.
Easily, yep.
And so sometimes that's the whole point, right? I was like, man, this was really easy. And you're like, and now comes the double cross because it was way too easy. And I need to scale it up. But I need a realistic way of scaling it up. And the realistic way of having every guard in the entire complex plus their brother-in-laws who decided to show up is because they knew about the heist to begin with. And the best place to have you is at the heart of the building where you got to fight your way out of every single corridor. Because there's two ways to do that, right? One is to keep them from getting in. The other is, like, bring them in. Turn off a lot of the defenses. Keep some up so they feel like there's some challenge. Yeah. But then as soon as they're through, turn all the defenses on.
Yep.
Right? So in a futuristic game, like, all the gun turrets now are coming out of the walls. You didn't know they were there, but now they are. And in addition to the 2 gun turrets, you got some other guys that are hacking you remotely. You got other guys that are... You know, they got droids, or they got bots, they got whatever. There's plus just the regular punks, you know, your cannon fodder dudes. They're all there.
Yep.
And they're all ready to go. So, in a lot of ways, that's exactly why you'd want to do it, is if they're going too fast. So, anyway, there's a couple of ideas on how you can do a double cross. I hope that you have fun doing them. I always have fun doing them. And I always have fun, actually, if I get double cross, believe it or not, because... Normally it's like, man, this was going really easy. And then it's like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
And there you go. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. We'll see you next time.